Kyrie Irving's season is over. The Dallas Mavericks guard tore his left ACL on March 4, 2025, during a game against the Sacramento Kings. This is a devastating blow to the Mavericks, who had championship aspirations after acquiring Irving from the Brooklyn Nets just weeks ago. The injury occurred in the third quarter of the game. Irving landed awkwardly after a jump shot and immediately crumpled to the floor. He had to be helped off the court and did not return. An MRI later confirmed the tear, ending his season prematurely. This is a major setback for Irving, who was averaging 27.2 points and 6.8 assists per game in a Mavericks uniform. He had seemed to have found a home in Dallas alongside fellow superstar Anthony Davis, forming one of the league's most potent offensive duos. The Mavericks now face an uphill battle in a loaded Western Conference. With Irving sidelined, their hopes of making a deep playoff run have taken a significant hit. The team will need to rely heavily on its remaining stars, Luka Doncic and Anthony Davis, to carry the load. The Mavericks currently sit at 32-30, clinging to the 10th seed in the Western Conference. The West is as competitive as ever, and every game holds immense weight in the playoff race. With Irving out, the margin for error is razor thin. The Oklahoma City Thunder, Portland Trail Blazers, and Los Angeles Lakers are all within striking distance of the Mavericks. Dallas cannot afford a prolonged slump, or they risk falling out of the playoff picture entirely. The team's remaining schedule doesn't offer any favors either. Dallas faces a gauntlet of tough opponents down the stretch, including the Denver Nuggets, Memphis Grizzlies, and LA Clippers. These games will test the Mavericks' resolve and determine their playoff fate. The pressure is now on Doncic and Davis to elevate their games. Doncic in particular will need to shoulder a heavier scoring burden. He is more than capable of doing so, but it remains to be seen if he can sustain that level of play over an extended period. The Mavericks' offensive struggles run deeper than just Irving's absence. Even before his injury, the team had been inconsistent on that end of the floor. They rank 18th in offensive rating since acquiring Irving, a far cry from the offensive juggernaut many expected. The lack of a consistent third scoring option has been a glaring issue. Spencer Dinwiddie, Tim Hardaway Jr., and Reggie Bullock have all shown flashes, but none have been able to provide reliable scoring on a nightly basis. The Mavericks' offense often becomes stagnant and predictable without Irving's creativity and shot-making ability. They rely too heavily on isolation plays for Doncic and Davis, which makes them easier to defend. Head coach Jason Kidd needs to find a way to generate better shots for his role players. He also needs to encourage more ball movement and player movement to create open looks. Otherwise, the Mavericks' offense will continue to sputter. Section 4. A roster ravaged by injuries. As if Irving's injury wasn't bad enough, the Mavericks are also dealing with a number of other key injuries. Anthony Davis has missed the last 12 games with a left adductor strain. His return date is uncertain, but it's unlikely he'll be back in the lineup anytime soon. To make matters worse, Maxi Kleber is out indefinitely with a torn Achilles tendon. Kleber is a valuable role player who provides toughness, defense, and floor spacing. His absence will be sorely felt. The Mavericks' lack of depth is now a major concern. They are thin at almost every position, and their bench has struggled to produce consistently. This puts even more pressure on Doncic and Davis to play heavy minutes, which could lead to fatigue and further injuries down the line. The team recently signed veteran free agent Goran Dragic to a 10-day contract in hopes of adding some backcourt depth. Dragic is a capable ball handler and scorer, but at 37 years old it's unclear how much he has left in the tank. Section 5. The Doncic trade, a gamble gone wrong? The Mavericks' current predicament looks even bleaker when considering the context of the Luka Doncic trade. Just a month ago, Dallas sent shockwaves through the league by trading Doncic to the New York Knicks in exchange for a package centered around R.J. Barrett and draft picks. The move was widely seen as a risky gamble. Doncic, despite his young age, was already a bona fide superstar and the face of the franchise. However, the Mavericks front office felt that the team had plateaued with Doncic at the helm and that a shakeup was needed. The Doncic trade put immense pressure on the Mavericks to win now. The team had mortgaged its future for a chance to compete for a championship in the present. With Irving's injury and the team's struggles, that gamble looks like it might backfire. The Mavericks are now in a precarious position. They have an aging roster, a depleted asset pool, and no clear path to contention in the near future. The front office will need to be shrewd in free agency and the draft to rebuild the team around Davis and Irving. Section 6. Navigating a murky future. The long-term implications of Irving's injury are significant. Irving is set to become a free agent this summer, and his future in Dallas is now uncertain. The Mavericks will need to decide whether to offer him a max contract, knowing that he is coming off a serious injury. If the Mavericks don't re-sign Irving, they risk losing him for nothing. This would be a devastating blow to a franchise that has already sacrificed so much to pair him with Davis. The front office will need to carefully weigh their options and make the best decision for the future of the franchise. The Mavericks also have some other key decisions to make this offseason. They need to decide whether to re-sign Christian Wood, who will be a free agent. They also need to explore ways to upgrade their roster, both in terms of talent and depth. The path forward for the Mavericks is unclear. They are a team at a crossroads facing more questions than answers. The next few months will be crucial for the franchise as they attempt to navigate a murky future.